video when using rulers. I hope everybody's doing well. I am. I'm doing great. Working on a quilt, having lots of fun, doing some feathers, ruler work, free motion, a little bit of computer work on it as well. But I just want to cover one thing and I know this has happened to us all. It happened to me today, actually, and that's why I'm going to talk about this with the rulers. So when using rulers, I've got two straight edge rulers here, and I have the large one, the long one, and then I have the smaller one. And I use them both depending on the need on the area that I'm working on. Now, how many times have you used a ruler and you've set it in place and you go to stitch along that ruler and all of a sudden your machine just doesn't want to go where you want it to go to follow that ruler? It wants to go an opposite direction. It happens to me all the time, and I'm going to tell you why. So whenever whenever the quilt is pieced and you have multiple layers that come together, what happens is you get a big buildup. And if they're pressed to one side, which is fine, because a lot of times, we want to stitch in the ditch, or, that's what the pattern calls for, is pressing to one side, but we need to learn to deal with that. And what happens is your ruler sits on that and it rocks, and it causes your machine to go a different direction than you want it to. So when you're laying your ruler down and you have that bump there, be aware of it. Go very, very slow, creep up until you get to that area, and you might even want to just walk your needle through, and maybe you might want to slant your ruler just ever so slightly so that it's not rocking. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you exactly what happened to me. So here we go. All right, let me take that light out. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in. Oh, too much there. And let me just adjust. There we go. And zoom in some more. Now, this particular quilt, I'm quilting for a customer, and it is a show quilt. So therefore, I've got to take care of little imperfections like this right here and make them look a lot nicer. Now, if this quilt was mine, and I knew that it was going to be used and I was going to wash it, I wouldn't worry about something that small. So just so you know, we don't always have to fix them, but in this case, because it is a show quilt, I am going to fix this. So I'm going to take out the stitches, and when I take out the stitches, it is going to leave me with little holes in. And I'm sorry, but I might have to turn the light on here. There we go, got it. All right, so taking out stitches. Just ripping them out. When you first come to an area like this right here, just immediately stop your machine from moving and take care of it very, very slowly. That could help you from taking out stitches as I did. All right, so you can see now, you can see the holes in the fabric, which is great right now. So this is the ruler I used before, and I wanted a 1/4 inch stitch line from the previous stitch line that I just did. All right, if I put this ruler back on here, more than likely, because this was actually the second time that I did this, more than likely it's going to do the same thing. I could walk my ruler, my machine across if I want to, but now that I've taken out the stitches and I already have the holes there, I'm going to use the holes as my guideline. So I'm going to come over to the seam here. lock in my stitches. Also, too, in this area, we have, hang on, okay. We have 1, 2, and there is a seam across here, a seam here. So there's 3 seams. This one is pressed open. If this one was pressed to one side, it would make this a little bit, this area here a little bit higher and a little bit more difficult to get through. It doesn't always happen, but it did happen on this one. So now I'm going to put my ruler on this side, because I know if I put it on this side, I'm going to get that same little rocking motion in my ruler. I'm just going to follow the holes now, lining my ruler up right at about 1/4 of an inch from the last seam line. And now I'm going to turn the ruler around and go the opposite direction. Now it is a little bit hard for me to see, and I'm going to have to turn my lights on. I do apologize, but and here we go. Following, and now I have a nice straight, get rid of the little tails. Now I have a nice straight stitch line, a lot straighter than it was. Now I want to echo this with a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to creep up my seam here where I'm going to have a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to lay my 1/2 inch mark right here. But my ruler is still sitting on this hump here. So I'm going to use my smaller ruler, and it is actually doing the same thing. It is sitting right on that hump, right on the very end. So I'm going to line this up the best that I can. And again, I'm going to have to turn my light on. I am so sorry, but to be able to see where to line. I want to line the ruler up, and I'm just going to take it nice and slow. I know that that bump is coming. Okay, so this ruler worked a little bit better, and I'm going to come all the way to there, and then I'm going to do this opposite side, and I'm going to still take it slow because we still have that bump. Now the next one that I do is a 1/2 inch as well, so therefore I can, let's see if I can use my large, nope, I still can't use my larger ruler, and that's okay. So I can continue on with the smaller ruler and not worrying about hitting this bump right here. So I hope this video helps you, and I'm going to turn this back around. Whoopsie. Oh, sorry about that. Not a good camera person here. So I hope that helps. Just try, if you have 2 different size rulers, you know, that can solve your problem. If not, you know, do as I did. I took out the stitches. I followed the little holes that the stitches left in the fabric. You know, or there are ways around it. Just don't press really hard. Another thing too, if you have anything laying on your quilt top and for some reason it gets up under your ruler, and while you're using your ruler, that can cause that little rocking motion too in your ruler and cause your stitches to go where you don't want them to go. And then, you know, you can decide at that point whether you want to take the stitches out or whether you want to leave them. More than likely, this one right here, like I said, if this was going to be washed, you know, you would never be able to see that again. That was a very small little jig jag, I don't know what to call it, but you know, I've gotten some pretty big ones before, and those to me are kind of necessary to take out, whether it's going to be washed or not. So just use your rulers wisely, and just take your time with them. So have fun with that. And if you like this video, please please like and subscribe. And I do have a website called Jackie'sMachineQuilting.com. You're more than welcome to visit that at any time. And hopefully we're going to have a lot of stitching in the future going on these videos. I just want to get through some of the little things, little details that might help you along the way. Thanks again.